Hello, good evening. You're watching us from the Gambia Radio and Television Services, and this is the news coming to you straight from Banjul. Also coming up, President Barrow launches the Migration and Sustainable Development Project meant to enhance the participation of diaspora Gambians in the country's development process. The First Lady, Madam Fatou Barrow, visits children who underwent neurological surgery at the Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital. The newly appointed Chief of Combo North calls for peace and respect for the rule of law as he assumes duties. President Trump's condemn on immigration policy provokes anger in the U.S. and across the world. Well, these and other stories coming ahead in the next 30 minutes. I am Fatou Janembai. Well, thank you for joining us. The President, His Excellency Adama Barrow, Saturday presided over the launching of a new project dubbed Migration and Sustainable Development in the Gambia at the Caraba Beach Hotel. The project seeks to, among other things, to enhance the contribution and participation of the Gambian diaspora in the national development process. Now, as we hear in this report by Mamadou Jallo, the President is making good on his campaign promise to harness the largely untapped potential of the Gambian diaspora, which contributes a whopping $200 million to national GDP annually.
The President, His Excellency Adama Barrow, arrived at the Caraba Beach Hotel for a consultative forum and the groundbreaking launching of a series of ambitious schemes that would fundamentally change the role of the Gambian diaspora in national development.
Countries are not developed by governments, they are developed by people. The fundamental purpose of government is not to impede its people so that they can get on with advancing the lives of their families, their communities, and their country.
The Migration and Sustainable Development in the Gambia, or MSDG project, is funded by the government of Switzerland and took off shortly after President Barrow assumed office. The project recognizes the diaspora as a critical pillar of development that, if engaged, could be utilized to accelerate the development agenda, end the exploitation of migrants, and enhance the safe and voluntary return of thousands of such people.
Migration is a complex issue, and it is therefore paramount that initiatives at different levels support a coherent migration governance. This is why my country supports the Migration and Sustainable Development in the Gambia project.
Policy framework and improved migration administration and institutions are critical for the effective management of migration in the Gambia. While it is essential that appropriate policies and procedures are formulated, however, it also requires that the government have the political will to implement the policies it adopts.
Participants will review and discuss a draft Gambia Diaspora Strategy, the setting up of the proposed Gambia Diaspora Directorate, and a report on sustainable livelihoods.
There is need for a multi-sectoral approach to the plight of returnees, since they have different education and skills level, aspirations, varied sectors of interest to venture into, and they wish to receive different kinds of support. It is envisaged that the already existing support from the EU Trust Fund and the UNDP project for employment creation, as well as the YEP project, will need to be enhanced financially and technically to address youth unemployment in general and specifically employment for the migrant returnees.
In my view, other priority issues that require adequate attention and support include agriculture and agro-processing, industrial development, and quality education and capacity building, including innovational and technical training.
The idea of a Gambia Diaspora Directorate was conceptualized by President Barrow during his visit to New York, with the ultimate objective of facilitating an interface between government and the diaspora.
The main objectives of the Gambia Diaspora Directorate will include, but not limited to, the following: be the port of call for information and advice for diaspora and the facilitation of information sharing, awareness raising, publicity, and promotion of all forms of diaspora development, policy and practice.
For the President, the launching of such initiatives symbolized the return of the diaspora, which remained largely sidelined under the previous government, despite contributing $200 million in remittances to the economy. President Barrow praised the efforts of Professor Jibril Fall, who played a leading role in this process, adding that if anything, it provides extra motivation to focus on the operationalization of the National Development Plan, which is government's development blueprint.
We should now fight for the best course of actions. We have a National Development Plan, and we must focus on having operational excellence to succeed its implementation. We must be vigilant against the fundamental development challenges we face.
The diaspora is now named the 8th region of the Gambia, and every year we'll have a whole period between mid-December and early January designated Diaspora Month to allow the thousands of Gambians to return home. Momodu Jallow, GRTS News.
The First Lady, Her Excellency, Madam Fatoumata Bah Barrow, today visited some of the children who recently underwent surgery at the Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital, courtesy of the FAB Foundation and neurosurgeons from Dakar, Senegal. Aissa Tuketa was at the hospital in Banjul and filed in this report.
It's almost a week since they arrived in the country for the second time. A development-oriented visit meant to save the lives of kids in their need of medical attention.
Usually related on meningitis, and if you have meningitis, you have the what we call cerebrospinal fluid. It's a kind of fluid, it's water. The flow of this fluid does not circulate very well in the brain, so that can lead to the big head. This kind of surgery, the purpose of surgery is to make diversion.
This development is the result of the First Lady's initiative. Her foundation has embarked on a strategic mission to improve healthcare with particular focus on special medical conditions. These neurosurgeons are in the country to handle hydrocephalus and related cases. Diseases which in traditional Gambia mostly associated with witchcraft and other superstitious beliefs.
Most of these patients have a condition called hydrocephalus. Hydrocephalus has various causes. We'll not go all into that, but just to mention. And children with this condition, we've seen in our communities, their heads grow larger and larger and larger and larger. And it affects even their ability to think and to grow, so the development of the brain is retarded if the problem is not corrected early enough in life. And we have seen the social implications of this problem in our communities. These children become outcasts.
The First Lady's visit to the children's ward is also meant to provide her with first-hand information on surgical needs and operations, observing how patients are responding to treatment. A total of 21 cases have so far been dispensed by the neurosurgeons, who recognize this endeavor as the fulfillment of a fundamental medical responsibility to the public. On the diplomatic front, the program also strengthens South-South cooperation efforts.
Now, within these 4 days, they have operated 13 patients. Seven of them hydrocephalus. I think another 3 with myelomeningocele, and another 1 with meningocele also, and 2 with some probably tumors that they are still investigated the biopsies for. These are life-saving operations, these are life-changing operations, and these go a long way not just to affect the life of the individual patients, but their entire family. This collaboration, inshallah, will continue, and we keep on praying for them, and for them to achieve higher heights.
Our duty. We don't have to let only Western doctors to come and to make humanitarian action. I think that you have to enhance cooperation between South and South. We have to choose some young doctors and send them in Senegal. I think that language is not a barrier.
Overwhelmed by the quick response of children to the surgical treatment, parents of affected kids took turns to express appreciation to the First Lady and her foundation for a well-timed intervention. In the Fatoumata Babaro Foundation, the health sector has certainly found a viable partner and patron committed to supporting the development of healthcare delivery in the Gambia. For GRTS News, I am Aissatou Keita.
And now moving on, the newly appointed Chief of Kombo North, Mamadou Bojang, has called for peace and respect for the rule of law as he formally assumes the chieftaincy title. The chief also vowed to work diligently in the discharge of his functions. H.N. Silva tells us more.
The new chief made these remarks in his hometown of Sukuta, where he unequivocally condemned violence in all its forms and manifestations, hammering home the need for peace, unity, and reconciliation.
I would advise them to maintain the law, to be an obedience of the law, and not to violate the law, so that this country we can able to develop it.
Bojang is the latest key figure to add his voice of peace just few days after those unfortunate skirmishes in Busumbala. The one-time commissioner in the police and magistrate also vows to give fair and impartial rulings in his tribunal. The new governor of the West Coast, Bakari Sanyang, and Sekuba Jaju, the National Assembly member of Busumbala, enjoined the chief to uphold impartiality and non-partisanism and protect societal and cultural norms and values. Village Alkalo Kausu Cham and Aissatou Cham both endorsed the new traditional leader, but not without challenging him to live up to his words as well as the expectations of the people. The event now sets the stage for his swearing into office in the no distant future. His appointment brought back the much cherished and prestigious traditional portfolio which has been with the people of Sukuta for many decades. Etienne Silva, GRTS News.
The Gambia Association of Public Health Officers on Friday renewed their commitment to support the School of Public Health. This was disclosed at a presentation ceremony of school materials meant to enhance the learning in the school. Khadija Tichalo picks up the rest of that story.
As part of Public Health Awareness Creation Week, organizers had a forum with public health students to gauge their level of understanding and challenges confronting them as aspiring public health workers.
GAFO have come to our aid at a very crucial moment when students will be roaming about looking for desks in their classrooms. Today, all our classrooms are well furnished for the comfort of the student compared to how it was before.
Students presented a project video documentary on Dangan village, showing living conditions that are a threat to public health. GAFO officials commended the students' video piece.
If you are ready, you can redo this and do it properly. We give you the resources to get a proper documentary. And it will be on GRTS and everywhere.
We need to develop intervention measures in next few years to come or months to come and say it was like this, but today this is how it is and this is what we have done as public health officers. It's an achievement. Thank you.
The Health Promotion Association of the Gambia College also staged a drama to recall those difficult moments in class before GAFO's intervention.
These are some of the problems that the students were facing here before. But we've realized that GAFO have this time around manifested that spirit of brotherhood to their young allies in the School of Public Health. And I think this initiative will go a long way in strengthening the goal of School of Public Health. Thank you very much, GAFO, for that wonderful support. And I'm pretty sure that the students will surely take care of these facilities.
Officials presenting the school furniture, the Gambia Association of Public Health officials said this is the beginning of more fruitful relationship ahead.
We are here today to officially hand over some classroom furniture which were produced with funding from GAFO, and also 3 water dispensers, and we bought 8 ceiling fans, all geared towards making teaching and learning conducive. I think we bought about 12 sockets just to make sure that you have good connection points in your classrooms. GAFO spent about $150,000 to give you all these things.
Students Association of Public and Environment Health of the University of the Gambia also took the opportunity to certify GAFO for their support. The ceremony ended at a tour of one of the classrooms of the public health students. Khadijatu Jallow reporting for GRTS News.
Now, hundreds of Muslim worshippers across Jimara and elsewhere on Friday converged at Koro Julakunda to witness the commissioning of a new mosque aimed at uniting the community. The mosque, built by a Saudi philanthropist, was facilitated by Dudu Sano, a native of Koro Julakunda. As Sene Marino reports, the worshippers